There is a shift happening in the content landscape right now that I don't think enough small business owners are fully paying attention to. And the reason I think it matters is because a lot of people can feel it, but very few are adapting to it. And if your content isn't bringing in clients for your small business right now, it's probably not because you're not posting enough. It's more likely that you're just playing the wrong game without really realizing it. You may have had this feeling recently that what used to work doesn't work the same way anymore. The posts that would have done well a year ago aren't landing the way that they once did. The views that you get don't seem to mean as much. And in a sense, your effort level feels higher, but the returns feel lower. And a lot of business owners are finding themselves in the same position. You put something out into the world that you think is solid, you check it a few hours later, maybe it's picked up a little bit of engagement, but nothing actually happens. No conversations, no inquiries, no real progress towards your small business. If you're like most of the people that I work with, you are creating more content than ever, pushing harder to stand out online and showing up as much as possible. But when you look at the thing that you care about the most, which is ultimately going to be leads, sales, and whether this stuff is actually bringing in business to help your business grow, it's feeling a bit disconnected. The reason is actually quite simple. Most business owners are still playing the attention game in a market that has already moved on. And in this video, I'm going to help you to start adapting to the new one. For a long time, the internet has rewarded attention, views, impressions, reach, traffic, and chances are if you could get seen, most of the time you take more market share. More reach meant more opportunity, more followers meant more leverage, and more views felt like you were making some really good progress. For a while, all of that made sense because platforms were less crowded, there were fewer people posting, less noise overall, and if you knew something useful, chances are you could create content about it and most likely get business from it. Today, that's the game that's so many people are still playing. More content, better hooks, more reach and visibility, but we're not in that world anymore. And I think that that's where a lot of small business owners are getting really caught out. Everyone is an expert now. Everyone has access to AI. Everyone can create relatively polished content using whatever tools they want to spit something out that sounds smart, useful, and vaguely impressive. So the kind of light touch, surface level, here's the 3 things that you need to know type content that used to work really well has been completely commoditized. This content is absolutely everywhere. It's easier than ever to make. And because of that, unfortunately, it means that it's never been easier to ignore. And this really matters if you're a small business owner. You're not trying to create content to be admired or to go viral and to get lots of followers. You're creating it because you want the right people to trust you enough to eventually buy your product or your service. That is the massive shift. We've moved from what's called an attention economy to a trust economy. And that's a huge difference. When somebody is in a position to solve a problem for their business, they're not sitting there thinking, who has the most followers? Who has the most views? They're thinking, who do I trust implicitly to help me do this properly? Who understands my situation? Who sounds like they know what they're doing? Who has shown enough depth, enough credibility, enough proof, and enough relevance that I feel safe spending my hard-earned money with them? That's a very different job to just getting seen on the internet. And if your content isn't doing that, it doesn't matter how consistent you are, it's not going to convert. This is why so many people feel like their content is underperforming right now, even when on paper it doesn't look terrible. Maybe you're also finding this yourself, that you're getting the odd spike in reach, you're getting the odd bit of engagement, and maybe you've had posts that have done fairly well, but it's not turning enough into business to justify the time that you're spending on it. And as a business owner, that's quite a scary position to be in, because at some point you start questioning, well, whether or not this is even worth doing at all. I genuinely see this all the time. And from my experience, at least most of the time, it is not a content quality problem. It has nothing to do with the way that your content looks. From my experience, it's a game selection process. And if you're experiencing this yourself, you're just optimizing your content for the wrong things. You are still likely asking, how do I get more people to see this? When a better question is, how do I make the right person trust me because they've seen this? If you're a serious business owner, success isn't 50,000 views from random people who are never going to buy from you. Success is 50 or 100 of the right people paying close attention, with a handful of them reaching out already sold on your thinking, your approach, and the fact that you're probably the right person to help. This is what harder working content looks like. And the reason I'm so strong on it is because I've seen what happens when people make that shift from attention to trust. For example, Dave, one of the members inside my community, recently made this shift from creating attention-focused videos like this.
All right, Chris, it's your first day, mate. Let's see what you've got in the locker, shall we? Any calls? Any emails? Have you done anything at all? Made any sales? Generated some new leads, maybe? Absolutely brilliant.
To creating videos that target a very specific type of person. And although they are considerably a bit more boring in comparison to the viral focused broad videos that tend to get a lot of attention, Dave has noticed a huge increase in leads reaching out to him directly from his new style of content. And today he creates trust content that looks like this.
If you're a small service business owner and you're still using the blog section of your website to talk about your office Christmas party, the awards that you've won, or the fact that your dog died 2 months ago, then please, please, please stop doing this, because it's not going to help you to win any new business.
It's a very subtle shift in style, but what's important to understand here is that nothing about Dave's content suddenly became revolutionary, okay? The only thing that really changed was the role that his content was playing for his business. Before, his content was designed to get attention. Today, they're designed to build trust with a very specific person. That's it. Same problem, same person, but a completely different outcome because the intention of his content has dramatically changed. When you're creating content for attention, it's natural to lean towards topics or ideas that are more generalized, broad, and easy for people to engage with. But ultimately, the audience that this type of content attracts is those that nod along, drop a like, and move on without really doing anything. Unfortunately, you can't build a business with likes and views. Today, Dave's content is doing something far more valuable. It's building trust with the exact type of person that he wants to work with. And that's a completely different job to what his content was doing before. It's really where I see a lot of small business owners getting stuck because they can feel something isn't quite working. They can't quite put their finger on what needs to change. So naturally, they fall back into what they already know. They post more, they try to be more consistent, they try to put more effort into what they're doing, and they double down on the types of content that used to work for them in the past. Now, and I completely get why this happens because from the outside, it feels like it's an effort problem. It feels like you're just one step away from everything clicking. So the logical thing to do is to push a bit harder and to keep going. But in most cases, that's not what's going wrong. If anything, most of the people I already work with are putting in more effort than they need to. It's just that effort is being applied in the wrong place. When you stop creating content that is designed to get attention and you start creating content designed to build trust, it's not just about saying things a bit better or improving your hooks or posting more consistently. It's about changing the things that you talk about, the people that you're talking to, how to position yourself, and what you actually want someone to do after they've watched your content. That's why people stay stuck where they are now, because they are trying to layer this idea of building trust on top of what they're already doing instead of just stepping back and rethinking what their content is actually there to do in the first place. And if you haven't gone through that exercise, I'd really encourage you to. I don't think that this shift from attention to trust is a trend either. It's not something that's suddenly going to swing back around in a few months' time. This is a shift in how people make decisions. People are more skeptical than ever. They are surrounded by the same sort of content that looks, sounds, and feels the same. So naturally, it takes them longer to trust what they're seeing. But when that trust is there, decisions happen much faster from the right types of buyers. And the people who understand this are quietly winning today, not because they are louder or getting more attention, but because they are a much more trusted source of information. This is where the opportunity is. Because if you actually know what you're doing, if you've got real experience and real opinions and something meaningful to say, you don't need to compete for attention anymore. Today, to really win with your content, it's about depth, it's about substance, and sharing what you know with people who want specific problems solved. That is the game now. And if you don't make that shift from creating content for attention to creating content that builds trust, you'll keep putting in effort without seeing the return for your business. And you'll end up going around in circles for a very, very, very long time. Positive note is you don't have a content problem. You've just been playing the wrong game. And until you make that change, no amount of extra effort or increasing your consistency will fix that problem. If anything, it will only make that problem worse. If you're watching this and you're thinking, well, this is exactly where I'm at right now, then you don't need to start over, but you do need to stop guessing because this isn't something that you're just going to fix by posting more and hoping that it works itself out. There's a way to actually structure this so that your content leads to conversations, leads, and clients, instead of just sitting there and getting attention, not really doing anything at all with it. If you want some help figuring that out in terms of how to actually make your content bring in leads and clients without guessing your way through it, that's exactly what we do inside my community, the Content Club. On a daily basis, I help business owners turn their content into something that actually works commercially. I'll leave a link below if you want to take a look. It's a closed community and I am quite selective with who I let inside, but if you feel like it's something that you want to fix and you'd like to be part of what we're building, you can apply using the link below. So until then, I hope you get some value from this video, but if you don't, feel free to continue looking at my other stuff for free. Check out this video right here that will teach you everything that you need to know about another strategy that I've implemented for a recent client of mine called Craig and how we've generated £100,000 of revenue for his business just from his videos alone. Check it out. Any questions, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.